Hello everyone. In various corners of the globe, it is common to hear people express their concerns about poverty. When looking at hardships in various nations, one can see that there are different levels of poverty. For example, when we look at poverty in some poor nations, we see a number of people who are all skin and bones. We see sick children with flies on their faces and hungry mothers looking totally dejected. In other poor nations, there are kids begging in the streets or searching on the dump site for anything of value. The level of poverty we see in these poor nations is somewhat different from that of developed nations. For example, if a child were to be seen wandering in the street, the Children's Aid Society and Child Protection Services would immediately get involved to protect that child. Also in developed countries, there are numerous charitable organizations such as food banks, shelters for the homeless, as well as government programs to help those in need. I recall growing up in my native land in the early 60s and experiencing a different level of poverty that was in some ways different from other nations. Though a significant portion of the masses were poor, the level of poverty was not as bad as what we see in other poor nations. The children of many poor families had low expectations, as receiving a Christmas gift or celebrating their birthday was least on their minds. At Christmas, it was common for poor children to ask or search about for old pieces of wood, a bicycle tube, empty cans, bottles, etc., to make their own toy guns, wooden cards, slingshots, or rubber ball. At times it was amusing to see how a young boy or girl would smile or jump up and down with joy when given a sweet or a small piece of chocolate. Today, the topic of expectations is widely talked about, and it varies in many ways. As from time to time, you may have heard some say, "Don't let others' expectations get in your way," or you might have listened to some talk about how pressured or frustrated they feel by what others want them to do or how others want them to behave. On a political note, you may have heard some say how disappointed they feel when the politician they voted for failed to deliver on big promises. Again, while some have high expectations that their religious and minority rights will be protected in democratic nations, others have low expectations in countries that have strict leaders who strongly feel that preventing their country from becoming fragmented or ethnically divided is more important than what a portion of the masses are calling for. It seems that the expectations of people in democratic nations are higher when it comes to asking or demanding more of what they feel is important than in nations that are ruled by inconsiderate governments. Today, in many societies, parental expectations are high, as some would like to see their children get married one day, find the right job, become educated, or become independent. I believe that it is better to set moderately low expectations so that in the end, you are not totally disappointed. In closing, I would like to thank you for listening.